Stop. What you are about to hear is not normal for Washington. Last night, while most of America was asleep, while news channels were looping the same old headlines, and while the world thought everything was routine, chaos erupted inside the White House. Phones kept ringing. Staff were pulled into emergency meetings. Legal teams were frantically reviewing documents that could change everything, almost instantly. This was not a minor filing. This was not a routine procedural update. This was a late-night legal twist that sent shockwaves through the corridors of power. Setting the context normally, Washington operates on a predictable rhythm. Court filings happen during business hours. Official statements are carefully drafted. Press briefings are scheduled and controlled. A late-night development breaks that rhythm. It cuts preparation time, it limits messaging control, and it forces high-stakes decisions, fast. And according to multiple sources, that is exactly what happened here. What happened before this twist? Things looked relatively stable. Legal cases were moving along, timelines were set, and public messaging was measured. Careful, routine. But late-night filings rarely stay routine for long. Even small legal developments can shift strategy, force emergency consultations, and expose vulnerabilities. And this twist did all of that immediately. The White House scramble doesn't mean chaos. It means compressed decision-making under extreme pressure. Options are limited. Respond aggressively and risk mistakes. Wait and risk looking and preparate. Stay silent and allow speculation to grow. Every decision carries risk. Every word matters. Every pause is analyzed. According to insiders, the White House was running through every possible scenario as dawn approached. Internal tension inside. Tensions rise naturally. Legal advisors focus on interpretation and exposure. Political advisors focus on optics and narrative. Communications teams focus on tone and timing. When priorities clash, delays happen. And under extreme pressure, every second counts. Analysts familiar with these moments say, this is when true power dynamics are revealed. The power of uncertainty is one of the most dangerous forces in politics. This legal twist didn't answer questions. It created more questions, more pressure, more unknowns. Defensive planning dominates. Forward momentum slows. Tension spikes across all corridors of power. Sources say the White House was working through multiple contingencies simultaneously, not knowing which scenario would play out first. Media signals speed. Early morning, information began trickling out. Not through official announcements, but through subtle signals, anonymous sourcing, careful phrasing, headlines reading, developing story. The public didn't know everything, but insiders knew. Something massive had just happened. Silence itself became news, and as the story developed, narrative control started slipping. Political atmosphere. By dawn, the atmosphere was tense. Briefings were tightly controlled and swears were carefully measured. Officials avoided specifics whenever possible, even without full confirmation. The shift in tone and urgency was clear. Washington was no longer routine. Pressure was high, and strategy had shifted overnight. Historical perspective is history. Late-night legal filings are rarely mundane, not because of immediate outcomes, but because they force reactions, accelerate decisions, and expose vulnerabilities. Even small procedural changes can ripple through the entire system, and this twist had already started sending ripples. The morning after the late-night legal shock was nothing like a typical Washington sunrise. Cameras flashed outside the White House. Reporters whispered about unexpected filings. And inside, the hallways were tense. Every step measured. Every word calculated. Officials were moving at double speed, trying to anticipate questions that hadn't even been asked yet. Sources say emergency briefings were still ongoing, even as the first news alerts went live. And as analysts began dissecting the move, it became clear this wasn't just a single twist. It was a strategic earthquake. Breaking down the legal twist, legal experts now say this filing could change timelines in ways no one anticipated. Procedural deadlines may shift strategy for key players, could be forced into a scramble. Even minor technical interpretations might carry political weight for the White House. That meant constant reassessment. Every document was scrutinized, every communication was double-checked, and every potential leak was treated as urgent. Because in Washington, information is power. The pressure building. Be late morning. The ripple effect had reached the media ecosystem. Newsrooms were alert. Analysts were debating potential outcomes. Commoners speculated about political fallout. And without official confirmation, the story had taken on a life of its own. And inside the White House, the scramble intensified. Press teams were drafting controlled statements. Legal teams were preparing explanations. Savers were recalculating political moves. This is what happens when unexpected legal developments meet high-stakes politics. Strategic calculations. According to insiders, multiple strategies were being weighed simultaneously. Respond aggressively and assert dominance.
Delay and analyze consequences. Minimize exposure and avoid speculation. None of these options were risk-free. Every decision carried political, legal, and public perception consequences, and time was relentlessly ticking. Even minor missteps could be amplified by the media, and opponents were watching closely. Signals from insiders. Anonymous sources began leaking hints. The filing changes timelines. This forces a rapid review of strategy. It's unexpected, even for senior staff. These signals, though cryptic, confirmed the seriousness of the situation. Political analysts note, in Washington, leaks often tell more than official statements. And tonight's leaks screamed urgency, tension, and rapid recalibration. Political fallout begins. By midday, political consequences were already appearing. Opponents issued statements calling for clarity and accountability. Supporters stressed patience and due process. Social media amplified speculation at lightning speed. Even before full facts were public, narrative control was contested. The White House was no longer simply reacting. It was managing optics, legal interpretation, and public perception all at the same time. Analysts weigh in, legal and political experts quickly weighed in. Some called it routine procedural recalibration. Others called it a game changer for internal strategy. Analysts agreed. Timing and suddenness amplified its impact. The lesson. In high-stakes politics, how news emerges can matter as much as the content itself. Even a small twist, presented late at night, can dominate headlines for days. Strategic implications. Sources reveal that this twist may affect communication strategy for upcoming announcements, coordination between departments, long-term legal planning. Officials reportedly reviewed every possible scenario, from minimal impact to extreme political fallout. This is how the White House operates under pressure: methodical, calculated, and continuously reactive. And it all started with a single late-night filing. Why this matters for viewers trying to understand Washington. Late-night legal actions are rare and significant. They trigger internal recalibration, media frenzy, and political speculation. They reveal the fragility of carefully planned strategies. This isn't drama for the cameras. It's the real machinery of power adjusting, sometimes frantically, to unexpected developments. And history shows small twists at the right moment can reshape the political landscape. As the sun climbed higher over Washington, the scramble inside the White House was far from over. Reports suggest senior advisors were running through multiple contingency plans, legal teams were drafting alternate filings, and communications staff were rehearsing every possible phrasing for statements because in moments like this, every word matters. This isn't just politics. This is a high-stakes chess game, and the first move was made late last night.
Internal strategy room sources described the atmosphere inside the White House as tense, calculated, and relentless. Team members huddled over documents. Advisors debated public perception versus legal necessity. Every minor leak was scrutinized immediately. Officials reportedly asked themselves repeatedly, how will this be spun? What questions will reporters ask? Which stakeholders need reassurance? One insider described it as a war room in every sense of the word, but the enemy is uncertainty itself. This level of coordination is rare, and that rarity underscores the seriousness of the situation. Domino effect across political alliances. Political analysts warn that even a small procedural change can ripple outward, affecting key alliances and influencing decision-making across Washington. Party members begin recalibrating positions. Opponents seize opportunities to apply pressure. Media narratives shift rapidly. The late-night filing didn't just alter legal timelines, it reshaped strategy tables, conversations behind closed doors, and long-term planning. Media and public pressure. By midday, media attention had escalated. Headlines flashed warnings of unexpected developments. Opinion analysts debated what the filing meant. Social media amplified speculation with lightning speed and with minimal official comment. The White House was under the microscope. Insiders note that once information leaks, even indirectly, control of the narrative is difficult to reclaim. This is why every internal movement, every draft statement, every memo, is now under intense scrutiny. Legal and political intersection experts explain that moments like this are where law and politics collide. Legal filings create procedural obligations. Political teams translate those obligations into strategic moves. Communication teams attempt to control perception. The twist from last night triggered all three forces simultaneously, creating a pressure cooker inside the White House. Analysts emphasize, timing and optics matter as much as the law itself.
Alliances and upcoming decisions, making this more than just a procedural development. This single event, a late-night legal twist, has shown how quickly Washington can shift, how sensitive power structures are, and how even a small filing can spark a cascade of reactions. Final words. For viewers, this is a lesson in watching how power operates under pressure. Decisions are rarely linear. Actions, timing, and perception are everything. Small changes can become monumental in political and legal landscapes. The scramble is ongoing. The story is developing. And the ripple effects are only beginning to be felt. This is State Exposed, bringing you the events as they unfold in real time and without spin. Stay alert, stay informed, because in Washington, the next twist is always around the corner.